Our countries face immense challenges, but have the ability, through greater closeness, friendship between us, between our teams, and between our countries, to address them. We are convinced that we can achieve a more effective Germany and France with concrete results in economic and security matters in the months and years to come if we know how to articulate and implement this agenda.
Ladies and gentlemen, in these times of great global upheaval, Germany and France must come closer together. This is an indispensable condition for Europe to remain free, secure, and competitive. Our freedom, our security, our prosperity must be guaranteed in a world whose order is evolving rapidly and profoundly. We share a strong will to tackle these challenges together. We share the conviction that a strong Franco-German partnership and a strong united Europe are our best response.
A quiet fracture is forming at the very top of Europe's power structure. Behind closed doors in Berlin and Paris, unity is cracking. Germany's Chancellor Friedrich Merz was apparently not informed about French President Emmanuel Macron's plan to reopen talks with Vladimir Putin. When asked, Berlin's response was tellingly cold. Deputy government spokesman Stefan Meyer said Germany had merely taken note of Macron's remarks. According to Die Welt, Merz now has little choice but to ignore Macron's outreach entirely, not because it doesn't matter, but because acknowledging it could spark an open conflict with France. And this isn't an isolated incident. Macron's proposed call with Putin is only the latest flashpoint in a growing list of Franco-German disagreements that insiders say are becoming impossible to hide. What was meant to be a powerful partnership, a Merz-Macron axis designed to steady Europe, to project unity in a time of war and uncertainty, is now visibly faltering. Die Welt issues a stark warning. The fractures are deepening, the differences sharpening, and a collapse may be looming. As Europe faces its most dangerous geopolitical moment in decades, the question now isn't just whether Macron should speak to Putin, it's whether Europe's two most powerful leaders are still speaking to each other. In Brussels last week, Germany came with a plan, and France came with doubts, reported the Financial Times. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz arrived at the EU summit determined to unlock 210 billion euros, frozen Russian sovereign assets, and redirect them to Ukraine's war effort. But just as the push reached its final hour, Merz realized something was missing: France. Publicly, President Emmanuel Macron stayed silent. Privately, his advisors raised red flags, legal risks, debt exposure, and fears that France could not guarantee the money if Moscow ever demanded it back. As opposition grew, led by Belgium, where most of the assets are held, Italy joined in, and then Macron folded. The Financial Times reported that one senior EU diplomat put it bluntly: Macron betrayed Merz, and there will be a price to pay. He's so weak that he had no other choice but to fold in behind Giorgia Meloni. The collapse exposed a new reality inside Europe's power core: an assertive Germany newly emboldened under Merz, and a constrained France, weakened by debt, political instability, and a president nearing the end of his final term. Berlin now drives. Paris hesitates.
Europe has understood the message. Europe has demonstrated its sovereignty. We are standing up against the biggest security policy threat with determination in Europe, the Russian aggression that has long gone beyond the aggression against Ukraine. The funding for Ukraine is now guaranteed over several years, as I had requested in October already. This multi-annual perspective is decisive to make sure to guarantee the survival of Ukraine, but also to send an unmistakable message to Moscow. We're sending a message against rising protectionism and a lack of rules in trade policy in the world. We are building a bridge between the European market and the Latin American market by finalizing a trade agreement between the EU and Mercosur. This creates the world's largest free trade area with fair rules and on an equal footing.
After long discussions, we decided on a loan to Ukraine in the amount of 90 billion euros, $106 billion, for the next 2 years, based on a European Union footprint that will be guaranteed by the European budget. These Eurobonds for Ukraine are a major advance that gives visibility to our Ukrainian friends and coherence to our support. This solution has appeared to be the most realistic and practical to ensure that Ukraine has the resources it needs to finance its war effort by 2026. On Mercosur, I was able to recall this morning, as I had done in recent weeks, that the agreement was not acceptable in this state and that the conditions that we had always set were not taken into account. It was therefore inconceivable that we would seek to force a decision on the European Council to authorize the signing of this agreement when our demands have not yet been met. After difficult discussions, we were able to postpone this decision.
Merz, fresh from an election victory, has moved fast, pledging massive defense spending, backing nuclear energy, cutting regulation, and pushing Europe to act without relying on an unpredictable United States. Emmanuel Macron, once the architect of European ambition, is now struggling to commit to anything with a price tag. Analysts quoted by the Financial Times call it a complete role reversal. The rift widened further over another long-stalled issue, the EU-Mercosur trade deal with Latin America. Merz wanted it signed by year's end. France resisted. Once again, Macron found an unexpected ally, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, delaying the vote and denying Merz another victory. Two battles, two setbacks, yet the summit was not a total failure. The EU agreed to a 90 billion euro loan for Ukraine, backed by the bloc's budget, a compromise both sides could claim as progress. Macron's office says France helped secure financial certainty for Kyiv. Merz insists the loan could still be reimbursed using Russian assets later, but the damage was done.